Have you ever been in a room full of laughter and success, but felt like a fraud? That voice in your head whispering, "You don't belong here," despite all you've achieved, the degree, the promotion, the family, the hard work. Instead of pride, you feel anxiety. You think it was luck or a mistake. This is called impostor syndrome. And if you recognize this feeling, you're not alone. It doesn't mean you're inadequate. Often, it's the opposite. Even Maya Angelou and Tom Hanks admitted to feeling like frauds. It's a hidden epidemic, especially among high achievers. Imposter syndrome is the inability to believe your success is deserved. First described in the 1970s, it's not just low self-esteem. It's a deep belief that you're fooling everyone. It brings anxiety, self-sabotage, and the fear of being exposed. You might deflect praise, avoid opportunities, or doubt your worth in relationships, parenting, and school. Ironically, success can make the feeling worse. Each achievement seems to raise the stakes. More people fooled, more pressure not to fail. Like Luisa Rodriguez shared, every win felt like more shame and fear she'd be found out. But this journey isn't about fixing yourself overnight. It's about shining a light on that voice and seeing it for what it is, a distorted echo, not your truth. It's learning to separate feelings from facts, practice self-compassion, and rewrite the story in your head. You belong here. Your success is real. And together, we'll begin the work of truly believing that. To heal from imposter syndrome, we must first explore its roots with compassion. This inner critic wasn't born from nowhere. It was shaped by our past, by the messages we received, and the environments we grew up in. Understanding its origin isn't about blame, but about reclaiming be. When we know how it was built, we can begin to dismantle it. Many imposter feelings begin in childhood, especially in families where achievement was heavily emphasized. If praise came mostly for good grades or winning, rather than kindness or effort, you may have learned that your worth depends on performance. This ties your identity to success, not to who you are. Mixed signals from parents, excessive praise followed by harsh criticism, can also create confusion. One moment you're a genius, the next you're a failure for a small mistake. Over time, you distrust praise and internalize criticism. Perfection becomes your shield against rejection. Having a sibling labeled the smart one can reinforce these beliefs. You might have been the creative or the funny one, assuming intelligence wasn't your strength, even when your achievements proved otherwise. Society also fuels this phenomenon. Social media bombards us with polished success stories while we live with our unfiltered struggles. A 2020 study showed platforms like LinkedIn intensify imposter thoughts, making us feel anxious and inadequate. Being different, the first in your family to succeed, or part of a marginalized group, often deepens the sense of not belonging. Facing microaggressions or subtle bias can lead you to internalize doubts that aren't truly yours. Personality plays a role too. Those prone to anxiety or perfectionism are more vulnerable. Perfectionism demands flawlessness, making anything less feel like failure and proof of your fraudulence. Think of the imposter voice as a story, one written by family, teachers, culture, and your own sensitivity. You didn't choose it, but it's been repeated enough to feel true. So pause and reflect. What messages did you get about success? Was love conditional? Was someone else the smart one? Do you feel different in your environment? Do you chase perfection? These questions help you see imposter syndrome isn't an unchangeable truth. It's a story. And the most powerful truth is this: any story that's been written can be rewritten. You can become the author of a new narrative, one rooted in your real worth. Imposter syndrome is more than a passing doubt. It's a powerful, self-sustaining loop that prevents you from fully owning your success. Understanding this cycle is like getting a map of the mental prison you've been stuck in. Once you recognize the pattern, you can start to escape it. It begins with a task, a project, exam, presentation, or difficult conversation. For someone with imposter feelings, this triggers anxiety and self-doubt. That familiar voice whispers, "I'm not good enough. This is where they'll find me out." From here, you take one of two paths. The first is procrastination. The fear of not being perfect makes you avoid the task. You distract yourself, delay, and then scramble under pressure as the deadline looms. The second path is over-preparation. You dive in obsessively, overworking to compensate for your perceived shortcomings. You sacrifice time, relationships, and rest in pursuit of a perfect result, not from passion, but from fear. In both cases, you eventually complete the task, and often succeed. You get praise or good results. For a moment, there's relief. But it doesn't last. Instead of confidence, you discount the success. If you over-prepared, your inner monologue might be, "I only did well because I worked way harder than everyone else. I'm not really talented. I just got by through brute effort." If you procrastinated, that was luck. The questions just happened to go my way. I don't deserve the praise. I threw it together last minute. Do you see the trap? No matter how well you do, you never update your belief about yourself. Success doesn't stick. It bounces off the wall of doubt. And when the next challenge comes, the cycle restarts, often with more stress, more fear, and deeper exhaustion. This is the engine of imposter syndrome, a loop that fuels itself. But here's the key. The weak link is the moment you dismiss your success. That's where change begins. The goal is simple. Pause at that moment. Notice the urge to explain your success away. Don't argue with it. Just notice. Observe the thought that says, "It was nothing." Awareness is the first, most powerful step. In seeing the pattern, you stop being a passive passenger. You become the conscious observer. And from that space, you can choose a new path. Imposter syndrome wears many masks. According to Dr. Valerie Young, there are 5 main competence types. Patterns through which imposter feelings show up, depending on how we define what it means to be truly capable. You may relate to one or several. Share 1. The perfectionist. You equate competence with flawlessness. Even small mistakes feel like proof of failure. You struggle to delegate, fixate on imperfections, and rarely feel satisfied with your success. Your inner critic says, "It's not perfect. I'm not good enough." This constant pressure drains you. Number 2, the superhuman. You measure competence by how many roles you can excel in at once. Professional, parent, partner, friend. You overwork to prove worth and hide insecurity. Saying no feels like failure. Rest feels undeserved. Your internal voice says, "If I were really competent, I'd handle everything effortlessly." 3. The expert. You tie self-worth to knowledge. You avoid acting until you feel fully qualified, which never happens. You constantly seek more certifications and training, fearing that one unknown answer will expose you. Your self-talk. "If I were truly smart, I'd already know everything." 4. The soloist. You believe real success means doing everything alone. Asking for help feels like failure. You'd rather struggle silently than admit you need support. You think, "If I were truly capable, I wouldn't need anyone." This mindset isolates you from help and growth. 5. The natural genius. You believe competence means instant mastery. If something takes effort or learning, you feel ashamed and inadequate. Struggle becomes a sign of failure rather than a natural part of growth. You tell yourself, "If I were truly talented, this would be easy." Recognizing these types helps you understand the hidden rules you've been living by. You're not flawed. You're following patterns that can be named and changed. Once you see them, you can rewrite the rules, choosing self-compassion, realistic expectations, and the truth. Real competence comes from growth, not perfection. You've spent so long fighting the voice in your head, arguing, suppressing, outrunning it. But what if the answer isn't to fight, but to observe? This is the path of awareness, the first step toward breaking free from the imposter cycle. Instead of reacting, you learn to watch your thoughts with curiosity. This is the heart of mindfulness, being present with your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. Think of your mind as the sky. Your thoughts are just passing weather. You are the sky, not the storm. When the imposter voice whispers, "You don't deserve this," mindfulness helps create space between you and the thought. You see it as just that, a thought, not a truth. Try this. Take a breath, settle into your body, and just observe. Let your thoughts come and go. When you notice one grabbing your attention, gently name it. Worrying, judging, planning. This helps shift you from being in the thought to observing it. This practice is central in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT shows us that it's not events, but our thoughts about them that drive our emotions. Impostor syndrome is powered by cognitive distortions, exaggerated negative thinking patterns like catastrophizing or discounting the positive. The first step in CBT is awareness, catching these automatic thoughts and recognizing them as habits, not facts. One helpful tool is the stop technique. S. Stop. Pause what you're doing. T. Take a breath. Calm your body. O. Observe. What are you thinking or feeling? P. Pull back. Ask, is this thought 100% true? What would I tell a friend? P. Proceed. With perspective, choose your next step, not ruled by fear, but guided by clarity. This isn't about replacing "I'm a fraud" with "I'm amazing." That leap is too big. Instead, shift toward a balanced view. I feel anxious about this, but I've prepared and I'll do my best. This takes practice. At first, you may notice the imposter voice too late, but over time, you'll catch it sooner. You'll begin to recognize its patterns, and that recognition brings freedom. You don't have to believe every thought. You are the observer, the sky that holds the storm. In that space of awareness, you can respond with self-compassion and quiet confidence. For years, the imposter voice has been the unreliable narrator of your story, highlighting flaws while dismissing strengths. But now, it's time to fire that narrator and become the author of your own story. This means shifting from the fiction of fraudulence to the facts of your competence. This isn't about false positivity. It's about gathering real evidence. Think like a lawyer. Build a case that proves your capability. One powerful tool is a success file, a journal, folder, or document where you record your achievements, big and small. Save praise, log accomplishments, list your skills. Don't let modesty silence you. At first, this may feel strange. The imposter voice may dismiss your wins. Ignore it. You're collecting facts you can return to when self-doubt strikes, proof that you're more competent than you feel. Another method is the thought record, a CBT technique. When a negative thought arises, "I'll fail at this." Write it down. Then, note evidence for the thought. List evidence against it. Rewrite the thought more realistically. "I'm still learning, and that's okay." Everyone starts somewhere. This practice helps rewire your brain, making space for balanced, truthful thinking. We also need to reframe failure. The imposter fears it as proof of incompetence. But try this. Write about a time you failed, then label it. Fail, icky first attempt. In learning. Then list 3 things you learned from it. Failure becomes a growth point, not a dead end. This is the heart of narrative therapy, the belief that we live by the stories we tell ourselves. You've lived in a story dominated by doubt. It's time to co-write a new one that includes strength, resilience, and truth. This doesn't mean erasing fear or struggle. It means expanding your story. You've doubted and succeeded. You've feared and shown courage. Both are true. By collecting evidence, reframing failure, and challenging your inner critic, you create a richer, more accurate narrative. You are not a fraud. You are growing. You are capable. And you are absolutely worthy of your success. We've explored the roots of imposter syndrome and the patterns that fuel it. But there's another powerful antidote: self-compassion. Many of us are skilled at self-criticism, but struggle to treat ourselves with the same kindness we show others. The imposter voice is harsh, unforgiving. Self-compassion is not indulgence. It's offering ourselves the care we'd give a dear friend. Imagine a friend who feels like a failure. You wouldn't shame them. You'd listen, reassure, and remind them of their strengths. Yet when we make a mistake, our inner voice is often brutal. This double standard fuels imposter syndrome. Self-compassion closes that gap. Try a simple exercise called the self-compassion break, which has 3 steps. 1. Acknowledge your pain. Name it gently. This is hard. Or, ouch. 2. Recognize it's part of being human. Say, others feel this too. Or, I'm not alone. 3. Offer yourself kindness. Place a hand over your heart and say, may I be kind to myself. This small practice rewires your reaction. Instead of more criticism, you respond to pain with care. You can also practice self-compassion through writing. First, write about a fear or insecurity honestly. Then, write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a wise, loving friend, someone who knows all of you and accepts you. Return to this letter later and let its kindness truly sink in. This helps soften the inner critic, not by fighting it, but by understanding it. Often, it tries to protect you from failure, but you can gently respond, I know you want to keep me safe, but I need kindness, not judgment. For example, if it says, you were so awkward, your compassionate voice can say, I felt uncomfortable and that's okay. I'm learning, and I'm proud of myself for trying. Self-compassion reminds us that our worth is not based on performance. You are valuable just by being human. Kindness fuels growth far better than fear. By cultivating a softer, more supportive inner voice, you create the safety to take risks, learn, and thrive. In doing so, you become the ally you've always needed within your own heart. We often view self-doubt as a battle to win, armoring up and fighting the imposter voice. But what if the struggle itself is the problem? Instead of fighting, what if we let go? Metaphors can help us shift perspective and relate to our inner world differently. The tug of war. Imagine being in a tug of war with a monster, your imposter syndrome, pulling you toward a pit. You pull with all your strength, exhausted. But the monster never tires. You've tried harder, worked more, but the fear persists. Now imagine, you drop the rope. The monster stays, but you are no longer engaged. You free your hands, your energy, and focus on what matters, your goals, your values. Dropping the rope isn't giving up. It's liberation. The thought garden. Your mind is a garden. Negative thoughts are weed seeds blown in by the wind. You can't control their arrival, but you choose what to water. For too long, you've nourished self-doubt. Now, be a mindful gardener. Don't fight the weeds. Recognize and redirect. Focus on growing flowers of self-worth. Feed them with compassion and attention. A perfect garden doesn't exist, but one full of life and care does. The two wolves. An elder tells a child, Inside us, two wolves fight. One is fear, envy, doubt. The other is joy, love, confidence. Which wins? The one you feed. Every act of self-kindness feeds the good wolf. Every negative thought you challenge makes it stronger. You choose which wolf thrives. The video game Level Up. Author Mary Robinette Kowal compares imposter syndrome to video games. You've leveled up, but didn't see the loading screen. Now the monsters feel bigger. You think, I'm not ready, but you are. The game wouldn't place you here if you weren't. Feeling like an imposter isn't proof of failure, it's proof of growth. You're in a new challenge because you've earned it. So next time doubt hits, remember, drop the rope, weed your mind, feed the right wolf, and trust you've leveled up. You're not failing, you're advancing. We've explored the roots of imposter syndrome and ways to observe and reframe it. Now comes the most important part, taking action. Theory is helpful, but real change comes from consistent, courageous steps in daily life. Consider John Steinbeck, who, even while writing The Grapes of Wrath, doubted himself deeply. Yet he kept writing. Or Laura Pomarius, who overcame self-doubt by applying for roles she felt unqualified for, then got them and co-founded a successful foundation. Their stories show that action, not absence of fear, is the turning point. So how can we begin? Number 1, accept praise. Next time someone compliments you, resist the urge to deflect. Just say, thank you. That small act helps chip away at doubt and open space for self-belief. 2, watch your words. Notice if you say things like, I'm just, or I only. These phrases minimize your value. Speak truthfully and confidently. I am a pilot. Here's what I know. Language shapes identity. 3, set realistic goals. Perfectionism fuels imposter feelings. Break large tasks into smaller, doable steps. Celebrate progress. Each win, however small, proves your competence to your own mind. 4, ask for help. Imposter syndrome thrives on isolation. Vulnerability is strength. Share your thoughts with a friend or mentor. You'll likely find you're not alone, and others see you more kindly than you see yourself. 5, take small risks. Try something that feels slightly uncomfortable. Submit a rough draft, speak in a meeting, join a new project. Each risk becomes data, evidence that you are more capable than your fear suggests. Abhas Gupta, once paralyzed by self-doubt, started journaling his small daily wins. That simple practice helped rebuild his confidence bit by bit. This journey isn't a sprint, it's a series of steps. Take credit, speak kindly, set kind goals, ask for help, take one brave step. These small acts are how we dismantle imposter syndrome and replace it with authentic, grounded self-confidence. We've explored self-doubt, its roots, and the tools to navigate it: awareness, action, and compassion. Now we stand at a new beginning, learning to live with confidence and authenticity. Living authentically doesn't mean never doubting yourself. It means making peace with imperfection and seeing self-doubt not as a truth but as background noise, like traffic outside a window. With time, you stop focusing on the noise and start tuning into what truly matters. So what does matter? Your values, your purpose, your impact. When you stop asking, am I good enough? And start asking, how can I contribute? The imposter voice weakens. It feeds on self-obsession, but fades in the light of purpose. Ask, what do I care about? What am I learning? How can I help? Authentic living also means owning your successes. Let good moments in. When something goes well, pause and say, my effort led to this. Let pride settle in your body. Over time, this builds a strong foundations of self-esteem based on reality, not fear. Adopt a growth mindset, the belief that you can learn and evolve. The imposter voice stems from a fixed mindset, telling you failure defines you. But with a growth mindset, challenges become chances to grow, and setbacks become feedback, not judgment. Most importantly, authenticity means self-acceptance. You are human. You have flaws, you make mistakes, and you have strengths. You are worthy. Now, not after the next success or when others approve. Worth isn't something to earn. It simply is. Let these affirmations guide you. I am a worthwhile person. I deserve to be happy. I accept myself, flaws and all. My worth is not tied to productivity. I learn, grow, and forgive myself. I am capable and resilient. I am the author of my story. I belong here. Overcoming imposter syndrome is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you truly are, capable, whole, and enough. Walk forward with patience, with courage, and with deep kindness toward yourself.